Welcome to another Korum fishing adventure. You normally find me on the gravel pits and lakes, but today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to fish on some drains and slow moving rivers and see what we can catch. We've had a nice start, got a lovely tench. Let's see if there's some more about. Beauty. So I just want to talk a little bit about the venue I'm fishing today. Now this is a marshland drain and it's connected to a river. The rivers down here are really slow moving to the point of almost being static. I'd love to have a Trent or a Severn, but I haven't, so these are the type of venues that I spend a lot of time fishing. They're very slow moving. They're what we call canalised rivers, so there'll be locks that open up for a few minutes an hour to let water out, and consequently the fishing that we're doing is not conventional river fishing. It's almost like lake fishing but on 30-mile long drains, so it's quite unique. And the features on these venues are different as well. So I've got pads all along the inside and the far margin, and every now and again we get a lovely feature like this beautiful overhanging tree, which is what I'm fishing up to today. So yeah, the venue's a little bit different and the fishing's a bit different, so we're going to have a look at the way I tackle them throughout the day. For a natural, unstocked venue, it's amazing fishing, isn't it? Male tench, this one. So let's have a look at the equipment I'm using today. So I've got a 10-foot all-round quiver, and on there I've got an Access 2 4000 size reel, and I've loaded that with some 6-pound feeder line. And then the rig is just a camo small running rig kit, about a 12-inch hook length. of £6 smoke shield mono to a size 14 maggot hook and a little Preston feeder on there. It's really simple, just a nice simple running rig kit. The reason for this particular rig is this isn't a flowing river, so I don't want a great big long hook length because it's not going to straighten out. I want to be able to see my bites, and a shorter hook length is going to do that for me. The feeder's a nice small one. I don't want to make lots of disturbance. I'm not fishing very far out. For me, the size of the feeders, I just need a feeder that's big enough to get me where I want to go and to put enough feed in to get me a bite. And it's a lovely running rig, so should I have any accidents, any cut-offs or anything like that, everything's just going to break away. So there we go, nice simple running rig. On the lift, on the float. That's what we wanted. Yeah. Whew. That's a tench on the lift method. Pleased with that. What a beautiful fish. All from a lovely natural venue. So I've got a float rod set up, and we'll just have a little look at the setup that I'm using for this. So I've got our ready float kit, and I've got a Preston Peacock straight waggler. Also got an insert waggler. I use the insert initially. If I start to get a bit of drag or tow on the water, then I'll swap over to the straight Peacock. Being a bit of a thicker top, doesn't get dragged under with the tow quite so easy. So the insert one's nice and sensitive, and then this one not quite as sensitive, and that's if it's towing. I don't want it to get dragged under. And then I'm actually using modern kit but an old style method, so I'm actually using a lift method. And to give it a little bit of a twist, I've got one of our touch ledgers on there, and I've got a float stop, top and bottom, holding it in place. And then I've got a little specimen quick snap link on there, and a really short hook length of, I think this is £4 smoke shield down to a size 14 maggot hook. And that's my setup. It's great for catching tench, keeps the bait nice and tight to the bottom. So the benefit of using a float ledger is I can basically anchor my bait to the bottom. I'm catching some tench, might be a few bream about as well. They won't like a moving bait, so you've got to keep your bait nice and still. So even though there isn't much flow on the river or on these drains, if you can, the more still you can keep your bait, the better. And the nice advantage of these little touch ledgers is this is very silty, so that can just perhaps plug a little bit, but it's still going to leave my hook length sitting above anything that's on the bottom there. So the reason I'm fishing the lift method, oh, that's perfect timing. The reason I'm fishing the lift method is because I can underarm this rig out just in front of the tree. Normally when you're float fishing, you sort of overcast and bury the line or bring it back, but I can't overcast here. Oh, he's gone down in the weed. Come out of there, here he is. So yeah, so I'm overcasting, getting it just off that tree, and then pinging a few maggots over the top, anchoring my bait on the bottom, which is how a tench like it. A nice juicy worm on the hook. What about this for a bit of marshland drain fishing? So I've shown you the rig, and we're just going to have a look in a minute at how we actually set the float once the bait's out there in the water. Let's concentrate on getting this one in. He's putting on a bit of a scrap, isn't he? Using the 11-foot all-rounder here, sorry, the 11-foot Avon. It's an absolutely perfect rod for this sort of fishing. Come on. In she goes. So I've underarmed my bait out just off the tree. Using that touch ledger, it's let me swing it out, and the lead's gone in first, float's followed it. The float's popped up, and as you can see, it's sitting lovely and proud. And then I'm just going to take a few turns of the reel handle, just literally moving the handle sort of ½ inch at a time, getting that float down. So the bait is anchored on the bottom, and then there's an angle coming up to the float, and then the float to the rod tip. So it's all lovely and tight. Any movement now on that bait, sometimes it will slide away and carry on going, but more often than not, because it's such a tiny short hook length, the fish is going to pick the bait up, lift that touch ledger off the bottom, the float's going to come up and lay flat, and we're in. It's a great method for catching tench and for fishing up to a feature with a float, which is what I'm doing today. Marvellous morning we've had. I think I've had 8, possibly 9 tench and a load of rudd from a little natural channel that cuts across the marsh that connects to a slow moving river. I've had half on the lift method, and then when they tucked back under that tree I had to get a little bit tighter and use a little open end feeder to keep the bites coming. What a cracking day. Let's slip these back.